You know what's crazy? I used to be just like you. I used to watch these self-improvement videos religiously, man. I would watch them every single night, after a long day, after work, whatever. I would just go home and watch all these self-improvement videos, these RP videos, red pill videos, and whatever, and self-improvement and stuff like that. And, you know, I was in a very stagnant place in my life because I would watch these videos about self-improvement, how to look smacks, how to do all these different things, how to get money, how to start a business, how to um, get muscle, how to get women, how to do all these different things. And I thought that by being on these self-improvement journey, by being on the self-improvement journey, I thought that that's gonna actually give me the results that I was chasing, right? I thought it was gonna give me fulfillments. I thought it was gonna get me real love. I thought it was gonna help me find myself and learn who I am and be myself and accept myself and love myself. But what it did instead is it did the complete opposite of that, of what I was chasing. I actually ended up attracting the complete opposite. It's like the only thing that wasn't the complete opposite is obviously fitness because I'm in really good shape. So I'll give them that. That is the only thing that worked. But aside from that, as far as learning about, game and understanding women and whatever and business and how to make money, how to do this, how to do that, confidence and stuff like that, it actually did the opposite because see what I was doing subconsciously, and you can probably relate to this. See, when you're constantly focused on what you don't have, when you, what you, on what you don't know how to do, like you might not have money. Like when you're constantly focused on the fact that you don't have money and watching videos about how to make money, how to do this, how to whatever, how to get women, because you can't get women. Um, you know, it's like that becomes your reality because that is what you're focused on. You're focused on the lack. You're focused on what you don't have rather than focusing on what you do have. And that takes away from your confidence day by day, video by video, the more videos you watch. It's like you start losing yourself, you start losing your confidence, you start doubting yourself. It's like, I really don't know how to explain this in a way that would send this message home, but it's like, okay, imagine this, man. If you're watching videos every single day that are telling you, hey, you don't have money, you don't have this, you're not handsome, you're not good looking enough, you're not this, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough. If they're constantly shoving that message in your face through these videos, then next thing you know is like it's just a matter of time before you start actually believing that you're not good enough right now and you must self-improve in order to be good enough. And that's where I was. And what you don't realize, man, is that it's a lie. Is they're lying to you in order to like sell you these courses or whatever it is that they do. Um, so realize that you are good enough right now if you choose to be so. Um, it's not gonna happen overnight. Obviously, I would say if you can cut out these self improvement videos for now, do that, and it's really gonna help you because you start developing confidence the right way, and confidence comes through action that led to success, a successful outcome. Like let's say you asked 10 women on a date and they all said no. Then obviously number 11 that you ask on date, you're not going to have confidence when you go up and approach her. You're going to have very nervous, fidgety body language. You're not going to be able to look her in the eye. You're going to be very unconfident, right? But Imagine the opposite. Let's say you approached 10 women and they all said, "Oh, yes, of course, I would love to go on a date with you, please." And then, number 11, you're obviously going to walk up to her with a lot of confidence because you know that in the past you had success doing said thing, right? And it can happen with anything else. Like, let's say you went on like 10 business meetings and got the deal, you signed the contract, you got the deal, you got the money, right? Number 11, you're more than likely going to be very confident in your skill set in that setting, if that makes sense. So, confidence isn't something that you're going to get through watching a self improvement video, Discipline is not something that you're going to get through watching a self improvement video. Now, is it going to help you get motivated and potentially start taking that first initial steps? Probably, yeah, that is a possibility, but however, it's not gonna ingrain the quality of discipline in you long term, right? Because discipline is not negotiable. Like no one can convince you to be disciplined. These self-improvement gurus, they can't convince me to be disciplined. They can't convince you to be disciplined, right? They are not the ones that made me disciplined enough to go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week, regardless of how I felt, regardless of the weather, regardless of any of these circumstances. That is something that I had to sit down with myself and decide, I'm going to be that person that goes to the gym 5 days a week and I'm going to do it no matter what. No matter what, man. So, self improvement videos are it's like a love-hate relationship, man, that I have with these videos because while what they say in a lot of these videos makes sense and it's actually tangible advice that you can take and implement in your own life, at the same time, it's like there's a danger zone, too much of it can really get out of hand and it can start doing the opposite effect of what you want. It's like it can start making you, like I said, focus on the things that you don't have and all that kind of stuff. And that's going to make you lose your confidence, lose yourself, feel like you're not worthy, right? And that's obviously downhill from there because you must be confident in this life. You must be, you must believe in yourself if you want to achieve things in this life, So, my advice to you and my advice to myself that I wish I heard earlier before I got addicted to these self improvement videos is instead of watching these self improvement videos, what you can do is you can actually replace that habit with something else. You can replace that habit with instead of consuming self-improvement videos that give you dopamine, like because when you watch these videos, what happens is you're watching someone tell you, hey man, do this in order to better your life and you're gonna do this. It's like a cheerleader, in a way. So you get a lot of dopamine. You feel like you're the man, like, hey, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do this, man. Yeah, I'm gonna get in shape, I'm gonna get $1 million, man, next month. But so a lot of times, man, that's not necessarily applicable in a lot of ways, So, what you can do instead is you can actually replace watching these videos with something that's going to give you fruit of your own labor, like something actionable that you can do, like take action. For example, maybe start a YouTube channel, maybe start that business, maybe, whatever it is, maybe start writing the book that you always wanted to write and publish. Do whatever it is that you want to do. But instead of watching self improvement videos, actually self improve is what I'm getting at. And it's something that I wish I heard before earlier. I wish I knew sooner. Instead of watching a video about self improvement, why not do it in real time? You know what I'm saying? It's like instead of watching the video, just go to the gym. Instead of doing it, brush your teeth, whiten your teeth, whatever, blah blah blah. Go on a run, go on a jog. Do things that in your eyes are gonna improve you. Like self-improvement is kind of subjective in a way. You know, whatever self-improvement is, or whatever areas you're weaker in this life, improve these areas. Because one guy here might need to improve his physical body, like fitness, health wise, and the next guy might need to improve their social skills. So they both can't be watching the same video. You know, they have different areas in life where they got to improve. You know, so you sit down with yourself, man, and come to terms with what it is that you need to improve, and just start fucking taking action every single day. Improve it a little bit, improve it a little bit, improve it a little bit, improve it. And you know, are we ever gonna be perfect? Probably not. But hey, what's it's kind of unnecessary to even be perfect, because none of us are perfect. You know, you can always aim to just be better than you were yesterday, and that's what matters the most. So yeah, I don't know. That's just my take on self improvement videos. You know, I don't really like them that much. Like, it can be, it can really do more harm than it can do good, is what I'm saying. So just be careful, you know. Watch watch self-improvement videos as long as you're doing something about it and you are actually improving your life, improving your overall quality of life, yourself, improving your skill sets, improving your finances, fitness, fashion, whatever, mental health, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, instead of watching the videos, do something actionable that you're gonna be proud of, which is as a result gonna give you more confidence. And confidence is obviously a very useful, you know, personality trait in this life that is gonna help you have an easier time in this life. Okay, so peace out. I hope this message was useful. If it was, subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.